Day 42, Egypt and Exodus, Exodus 24, Leviticus 17 through 18, Psalm 77. Let's begin. Exodus 24. He also said to Moses, Ascend to the Lord, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 elders out of Israel, and adore from a distance. And only Moses will ascend to the Lord, and he shall not approach. Neither shall the people ascend with him. Therefore Moses went and explained to the people all the words of the Lord, as well as the judgments. And all the people responded with one voice, We will do all the words of the Lord, which he has spoken. Then Moses wrote all the words of the Lord. And rising up in the morning, he built an altar at the base of the mountain, with 12 titles according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent youths from the sons of Israel, and they offered holocausts, and they immolated calves as peace offerings to the Lord. And so Moses took 1/2 part of the blood, and he put it into bowls. Then the remaining part he poured over the altar. And taking up the book of the covenant, he read it in the hearing of the people, who said, All that the Lord has spoken, we will do, and we will be obedient. In truth, taking up the blood, he sprinkled it on the people, and he said, This is the blood of the covenant, which the Lord has formed with you concerning all these words. And Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel ascended. And they saw the God of Israel. And under his feet was something like a work of sapphire stone, or like the sky, when it is serene. Neither did he lay his hand upon those of the sons of Israel who were at a distance. And they saw God, and they ate and drank. Then the Lord said to Moses, Ascend to me on the mountain, and be there. And I will give to you tablets of stone, and the law and the commandments that I have written. So may you teach them. Moses rose up, with Joshua his minister. And Moses, ascending on the mountain of God, said to the elders, Wait here, until we return to you. You have Aaron and Hur with you. If any question arises, you shall refer it to them. And when Moses had ascended, a cloud covered the mountain. And the glory of the Lord dwelt upon Sinai, covering it with a cloud for 6 days. And on the 7th day, he called to him from the middle of the mist. Now the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like a burning fire over the summit of the mountain in the sight of the sons of Israel. And Moses, entering into the midst of the cloud, ascended the mountain. And he was there for 40 days and 40 nights. Leviticus 17:18. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, and to all the sons of Israel, saying to them, This is the word, which the Lord has commanded, saying, Any man at all of the house of Israel, if he will have killed an ox, or a sheep, or a goat in the camp or beyond the camp, and not have presented it as an oblation to the Lord at the door of the tabernacle, he shall be guilty of blood. It is just as if he had shed blood, so then, he shall perish from the midst of his people. Therefore, the sons of Israel must offer to the priests their victims, which they kill in the field, so that they may be sanctified to the Lord before the door of the tabernacle of the testimony, and so that they may immolate them as peace offerings to the Lord. And the priest shall pour the blood upon the altar of the Lord, at the door of the tabernacle of the testimony, and he shall burn the fat as a sweet odor to the Lord. And they shall no longer immolate their victims to demons, with whom they have committed fornication. It shall be an everlasting ordinance for them and for their posterity. And you shall say to them, The man of the house of Israel, or of the newcomers who sojourn with you, who offers a holocaust or a victim, and who does not bring it to the door of the tabernacle of the testimony, so that it may be offered to the Lord, shall pass away from his people. Any man at all of the house of Israel, or of the newcomers who sojourn among them, if he has eaten blood, I will harden my face against his soul, and I will drive him from his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you, so that you may atone with it upon the altar for your souls, and so that the blood may be for an expiation of the soul. For this reason, I have said to the sons of Israel, No soul among you shall eat blood, nor among the newcomers who sojourn with you. Any man at all from the sons of Israel, or from the newcomers who sojourn with you, whether by hunting or bird catching, if he seizes a wild beast or a bird, which is lawful to eat, let him pour out its blood and cover the earth with it. For the life of all flesh is in the blood. Therefore, I said to the sons of Israel, You shall not eat the blood of any flesh at all, because the life of the flesh is in the blood, and whoever has eaten it shall perish. The soul who eats what has died on its own, or what has been caught by a beast, whether he is native born or a newcomer, shall wash his clothes and himself with water, and he shall be contaminated until evening. And by this means he shall be made clean. But if he will not wash his clothes and his body, he shall bear his iniquity. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, and you shall say to them, I am the Lord your God. You shall not act according to the custom of the land of Egypt, in which you have lived, nor shall you behave according to the habit of the region of Canaan, into which I will lead you, either shall you walk in their ordinances. You shall accomplish my judgments, and you shall observe my precepts, and you shall walk in them. I am the Lord your God. Keep my laws and judgments. When a man does these, he shall live by them. I am the Lord. No man shall approach her who is a close blood relative to him, so as to uncover her nakedness. I am the Lord. You shall not expose the nakedness of your father, or the nakedness of your mother. She is your mother, you shall not uncover her nakedness. You shall not expose the nakedness of your father's wife, for it is the nakedness of your father. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your sister, whether from father or from mother, whether she was born at home or abroad. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your son's daughter, or your daughter's daughter, for it is your own nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife's daughter, whom she bore to your father, and who is your sister. You shall not expose the nakedness of your father's sister, for she is the flesh of your father. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, because she is the flesh of your mother. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's brother, nor shall you approach his wife, who is joined to you by affinity. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your daughter-in-law, for she is your son's wife, either shall you expose her dishonor. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your brother's wife, for it is the nakedness of your brother. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your wife and her daughter. You shall not take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter, so as to uncover her dishonor, for they are her flesh, and such sexual intercourse is incest. You shall not take your wife's sister as a rival mistress, nor shall you uncover her nakedness, while your wife is still living. You shall not approach a woman who is undergoing menstruation, nor shall you uncover her foulness. You shall not have sexual intercourse with your neighbor's wife, nor shall you be defiled by the mingling of seed. You shall not give some of your seed to be consecrated to the idol Moloch, nor to pollute the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not commit sexual acts with a male, in place of sexual intercourse with a female, for this is an abomination. You shall not commit sexual acts with any animal, nor shall you be defiled by it. A woman shall not lie down with a beast, nor commit sexual acts with it, for this is wickedness. Do not pollute yourselves with any of these things, by which all of the nations, which I will cast out in your sight, have been contaminated, and by which the land has been polluted. I will visit the wickedness of the land, so that it may vomit out its inhabitants. Keep my ordinances and judgments, and do not do any of these abominations, the native born, as well as the settler, who sojourns among you. For all these detestable things were done by the inhabitants of the land who were here before you, and they have polluted it. Therefore, beware, lest in a similar manner, it may vomit you out as well, if you do these same things, just as it vomited out the people who were before you. Every soul who shall commit any of these abominations shall perish from the midst of his people. Keep my commandments. Do not be willing to do the things which have been done by those who were before you, and do not be polluted by these things. I am the Lord your God. Psalm 77. The understanding of Asaph. O my people, attend to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in parables. I will speak about concepts that are from the beginning. We have heard and known such great things, as our fathers have described to us. These things have not been hidden from their sons in any generation, declaring the praises of the Lord, and his virtues, and the wonders that he has done. And he has received testimony with Jacob, and he has set a law within Israel. Such great things he has commanded our fathers, so as to make these things known to their sons, so that another generation might know them, and so that the sons, who will be born and who will grow up, shall describe them to their sons. So then, may they put their hope in God, and may they not forget the works of God, and may they seek his commandments. May they not become like their fathers, a perverse and exasperating generation, a generation that does not straighten their heart, and whose spirit is not trustworthy with God. The sons of Ephraim, who bend and shoot the bow, have been turned back in the day of battle. They have not kept the covenant of God, and they were not willing to walk in his law. And they have been forgetful of his benefits, and of his miracle, which he revealed to them. He performed miracles in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt, in the field of Tanis. He broke the sea and he led them through. And he stationed the waters, as if in a vessel. And he led them with a cloud by day, and with illumination by fire throughout the night. He broke through the rock in the wasteland, and he gave them to drink, as if from the great abyss. He brought forth water from the rock, and he conducted the waters, as if they were rivers. And yet they continued to sin against him. In a waterless place, they provoked the Most High with resentment. And they tempted God in their hearts, by asking for food according to their desires. And they spoke badly about God. They said, would God be able to prepare a table in the desert? He struck the rock, and so waters flowed and the torrents flooded, but would even he be able to provide bread, or provide a table, for his people? Therefore, the Lord heard, and he was dismayed, and a fire was kindled within Jacob, and an anger ascended into Israel. For they either put their trust in God, nor did they hope in his salvation. And he commanded the clouds from above, and he opened the doors of heaven. And he rained down manna upon them to eat, and he gave them the bread of heaven. Man ate the bread of angels. He sent them provisions in abundance. He transferred the south wind from heaven, and in his virtue he brought in the southwest wind. And he rained down flesh upon them, as if it were dust, and feathered birds, as if they were the sand of the sea. And they fell down in the midst of their camp, encircling their tabernacles. And they ate until they were greatly satisfied, and he brought to them according to their desires. They were not cheated out of what they wanted. Their food was still in their mouth. And then the wrath of God came upon them. And he slew the fat ones among them, and he impeded the elect of Israel. In all these things, they continued to sin, and they were not trustworthy with his miracles. And their days faded away into vanity, and their years with haste. When he slew them, then they sought him. And they returned, and they drew near to him in the early morning. And they were mindful that God is their helper, and that the Most High God is their Redeemer. And they chose him with their mouth, and then they lied to him with their tongue. For their heart was not upright with him, nor have they been living faithfully in his covenant. Yet he is merciful, and he will pardon their sins. And he will not destroy them. And he has abundantly turned aside his own wrath. And he did not enflame his wrath entirely. And he remembered that they are flesh, with a spirit that goes forth and does not return. How often did they provoke him in the desert, and stir him to wrath in a waterless place? And they turned back and tempted God, and they exasperated the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember his hand, in the day that he redeemed them from the hand of the one troubling them. Thus he positioned his signs in Egypt, and his wonders in the field of Tanis. And he turned their rivers into blood, along with their rain showers, so that they could not drink. He sent among them the common fly, and it devoured them, and the frog, and it scattered them. And he gave up their fruits to mold, and their labors to the locust. And he slew their vineyards with hail, and their mulberry trees with severe frost. And he delivered their cattle to the hail, and their possessions to fire. And he sent the wrath of his indignation among them, indignation and wrath and tribulation, sent forth by evil angels. He made way for the path of his anger. He did not spare their souls from death. And he enclosed their beasts of burden in death. And he struck all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, the firstfruits of all their labor in the tabernacles of Ham. And he took away his own people like sheep, and he led them through the wilderness like a flock. And he led them out in hope, and they did not fear. And the sea covered their enemies. And he led them to the mountain of his sanctification, the mountain that his right hand had acquired. And he cast out the Gentiles before their face. And he divided their land by lot to them, with a line of distribution. And he caused the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tabernacles. Yet they tempted and aggravated God Most High, and they did not keep his testaments. And they turned themselves aside, and they did not serve the covenant. In the same manner as their fathers, they were turned backwards, like a crooked bow. They impelled him to anger on their hills, and they provoked him to rivalry with their graven images. God listened, and he spurned them, and he reduced Israel greatly, almost to nothing. And he rejected the tabernacle of Shiloh, his tabernacle where he had dwelt among men. And he delivered their virtue into captivity, and their beauty into the hands of the enemy. And he enclosed his people with the sword, and he spurned his inheritance. Fire consumed their young men, and their virgins were not lamented. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows did not weep. And the Lord was awakened, as if out of sleep, and like a powerful man impaired by wine. And he struck his enemies on the back. He gave them over to everlasting disgrace. And he rejected the tabernacle of Joseph, and he did not choose the tribe of Ephraim. But he chose the tribe of Judah, Mount Zion, which he loved. And he built up his sanctuary, like a single-horned beast, in the land that he founded for all ages. And he chose his servant David, and he took him from the flocks of the sheep, he received him from following the ewes with their young, in order to pasture Jacob his servant, and Israel his inheritance. And he fed them with the innocence of his heart. And he led them with the understanding of his hands.